Tanvi Singh, your Unacademy clarity teacher. Welcome to the legal world of Unacademy. So today we are going to talk about red sanders smuggling. Red sanders आपके लाल चंदन wood है, which are smuggled in huge numbers since many years in India. This red sanders smuggling came into light after the movie Pushpa. Pushpa movie तो सबने देखी. तो उसी के aspect में we are going to discuss today. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Tanvi Singh. I am a pass out. I have done my law from Symbiosis Law School, Pune in 2017. Earlier, I have worked with a law firm named Lakshmi Kumar and Srivalli attorneys. Also, I have worked with EBC Publishing Private Limited and SE. I have been mentoring aspirant law exams since last 5 years. So let's start our session. So Pushpa तो सबने देखी है. पुष्पा मूवी हैज वन द हार्ट्स ऑफ मासेस इन इंडिया एंड वर्ल्ड वाइड. इस मूवी में क्या होता है? मूवी में एक लेबरर होता है, ही इज अ बस ड्राइवर नेम्ड पुष्पा, जो कि जिन्होंने अपने ढेर सारे एनिमीज बना लेता है वो, बिकॉज ही राइजेस इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ रेड सैंडलवुड स्मगलिंग. ही बिकम्स द स्मगलिंग लॉर्ड. तो बट व्हाट हैपेंस इन दिस मूवी दैट वायलेंस कब शुरू होता है? जब पुलिस ट्राइज टू अटेम्प्ट्स टू स्टॉप हिज इलीगल बिजनेस. इस पे पूरी मूवी बेस्ड है. इस मूवी के थ्रू पीपल हैव कम टू नो अबाउट द रेड सैंडर स्मगलिंग दैट हैपेंस इन इंडिया. वी आर गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट. बट एक बात क्या आपको पता है? पुष्पा मूवी जो है इट्स बेस्ड ऑन द रियल लाइफ इवेंट्स. इट्स नॉट फिक्शनल. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट आवर सेशन. रेड सैंडर्स आपकी वो ट्रीज, लाल चंदन जैसे मैंने पिक्चर्स में दिखाया, जिसकी स्मगलिंग बहुत प्रेवलेंट है. रेड सैंडर्स एक इंडियन एंडेमिक ट्री स्पीशीज, मतलब ये वो रेयर स्पीशीज है जिनको अगर कल्टीवेशन नहीं रोका गया या फिर उनको दे आर इन वेरी लेस नंबर अवेलेबल इन इंडिया. तो दीज आर द एक्सक्लूसिव ट्रीज फाउंड इन आंध्र प्रदेश, और इनको आप रक्त चंदन नाम से भी जानते होंगे. So the wood of red sanders is priced at crores in the international market, and that is why this is such a lucrative market that the smugglers have approached. What is the geographical range? Now, for red sanders, there needs to be a typical red soil is needed for them to grow, and इस वजह से ये eastern घाट्स of India में ही पाए जाते हैं. It is endemic to a distinct tract of forest in आंध्र प्रदेश हो गया, तमिलनाडु, some places of Odisha, यहाँ पे ये पाए जाते हैं. What is the protection status? आपका जो इंटरनेशनल यूनियन फॉर कंजर्वेशन ऑफ नेचर है, it has listed it as endangered species. इसकी रेड लिस्ट में IUCN अपनी एक रेड लिस्ट निकालता है where there is an endangered category में रेड सैंडर्स को किया गया है. तो IUCN की रेड लिस्ट के बारे में जानते हैं. IUCN maintains a red list called the Red List of Flora and Fauna and categorizes them based on their conservation status. It has listed red sanders as endangered species. अब IUCN different lists निकालते हैं. The status ranges from least concern for the species that are abundant in numbers to extinct. एक extinct list भी होती है जो for those species which disappeared from. Now, species that come under critically endangered, and vulnerable category are considered threatened according to IUCN categorization. And according to their categorization, our red sandalwood is in the India. Let's know a bit about red sanders. So, red sanders grows naturally in Andhra Pradesh and north of Tamil Nadu in India. It is listed as endangered by the International Union for Conservation. Highly prized in China for making exquisite furniture, musical instrument, and use in alternative medicine. Also, let me tell you one thing. So, China and Japan, there are these in the marriage ceremonies. The instruments made by red sandalwood are considered very auspicious to be gifted as dowry. So that is the reason it's a very lucrative market over there also. So a kilo of red sandals bought at India में अगर आप 1 किलो रेड सैंडर्स खरीदोगे तो it will cost 500 rupees. But out of India, in China, it might cost from 10,000 rupees to 12,000. Also, scientists have found traces of radioactive material like thorium and uranium in red sanders, but experts say that the quantity is too small to be used in nuclear reactors. Also, the wood is mainly smuggled out of India through northeast and the Bhutan areas. The cost and the crime. Red sanders मैंने आपको बताया, it's a tree species native to आंध्र प्रदेश, चित्तौर, कडापा, कुर्नूल, नेल्लौर एंड प्रकाशम डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स. वहाँ पे एक सेशलम एरिया माना जाता है, वहाँ पर ट्रीज ग्रो होते हैं. The tree is on the endangered species list. Extraction of live tree is completely prohibited. Now, the brick redwood trees has immense value in countries like Japan, China and Myanmar, जहाँ पे इसके expensive furniture, musical instruments बनाए जाते हैं. Smuggled wood is sent by land route through northeast states to Myanmar and by sea route to Singapore and Dubai. अब एक recent auction में 1 ton of A-grade logs were sold for 1.9 crores. And for B-grade and C-grade, wood were valued at 55 and 25 lakhs respectively. So through auctioning only, the government has earned around 900 crore by auctioning 2600 tons of seed. So this network also, ये तो आपकी wood के बारे में, this is the precious commodity that is grown in India. Now, how the smuggling racket prevails? The smuggling racket operates from forest villages to international market. An order placed from abroad, बाहर से कुछ order आया है, which is communicated, there are middlemen who communicate to the local operator, who then calls the foreman who supplies the wood cutters from Tamil Nadu. Laborers को ट्रेन में लाया जाता है, buses में लाया जाता है in the dark of the night, walking long distances to the heart of the forest where the trees are found. Lower level of forest officials guide them to the right patches. The logs are then chipped, cured, और उनको इस तरह से vehicles में रखा जाता है, concealed in rice husk, watermelon, oil tanker, even ambulances में भी carry किया जाता है in illegal manner. So, red sander smuggling often involves various independent gangs. सबके अपने अपने gangs बने हुए हैं. Often it's the turf war that leads to the leak in information and busting of a network, because there is competition between the gangs as well. Next, according to an estimate, red sanders bearing forests have 15.5 lakh harvestable trees which are under protected area network and reserve forest area. ये वो आपकी rare species which are endangered, therefore cost range around 1 to 1.5 crore. IUCN, International Union for Conservation of Nature, has seen 50 to 80% population decline, and today only 5% mature and harvestable trees are present in the forest. Now, a survey in Andhra Pradesh also concluded that today only 30% trees are there जो कि A grade के होंगे, which provide heartwood content. But I would like to tell you one more thing, that other than smuggling, forest fires are also a threat to the existence of this tree. So smuggling के साथ साथ forest fires are also their enemy. As a result of this exploitation by the smugglers and the threat by forest fires, Union government has taken various measures. In 1980s, red sanders, the government had recommended red sanders to be put in Appendix 2 of conservation status by CITES to halt its large-scale smuggling and control its. Now, what is CITES? CITES is a convention on international trade in endangered species. So this is an international multilateral treaty which basically conserves the flora and fauna. In 1980s में आपके red sanders were recommended to be put in Appendix 2 of the conservation status by CITES to halt its, in order to curb its, curb तो पूरा खत्म नहीं हो सकता, but to halt its large scale smuggling and control its trade. Accordingly, 1995 में red standards was put in Appendix 2. 1980s में it was recommended by the government, and 1995 में after a few years, red sanders were put in the Appendix 2 of CITES. Now, IUCN, as I have told you about, International Union for Conservation of Nature, has also added red sanders in red list. These are the different lists, categories that are there. The IUCN Red List is a critical indicator of the health of the world's biodiversity. कि वो बहुत ही endangered species और उनका usage should be done in that manner. In 2004, अब after all of this, what law was there in India? 2004 में government ने पूरा ban लगा दिया on the export of red sanders. Because IUCN ने भी red list में register कर दिया है, CITES ने भी आपको it has been listed as that it needs to be conserved. So in 2004, government put total ban on export of red sand. Although there was these many restrictions, अब export में ban लग गया है, फिर भी smugglers flourished. Due to the huge amount in international market and the high cost, there was a huge demand in international market and there was high cost that the smugglers were getting. The red standard smuggling was still prevalent and it was a very lucrative market for. In 2021 alone, there were 117 cases against red sanders smuggling, in which 508 worth crore worth 51 tons were seized. 2015 में in Andhra Pradesh Legislative Assembly, State Minister for Forest and Environment informed that till now 3004.42 metric tons of red sanders were smuggled and 7,354 vehicles have been seized and about 20,000 people were arrested. After 2000, the government, there were many policies. 2004 में आपका total ban लग गया on the export, but still these government measures encouraged the red sanders smuggling. How did it happen? Let's understand. So due to the huge market demand, red sanders were being exported from India in huge demand. Due to which red sanders was included in red list. You are well aware of this. As a result of this, ban on exports of red sanders by the government. Now, as a result of ban on export, it did not stop the export of illegally cut red sanders. Rather, those trees. अब इससे इस बैन से क्या होता है? इस बैन से जो फार्मर्स अपने रेड सैंडर्स प्रोड्यूस एक्सपोर्ट करना चाहते थे उस पे टोटल बैन लगा. इससे आपकी स्मगलिंग पे कोई भी इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ा. The illegally cut red sanders were still being exported. Now, a farmer who could grow the tree and had to take permission. पहले who could grow the tree, अब उसको एक परमिट लेना पड़ेगा in order to cut the tree, in order to transport it, and it was very difficult for the farmer to obtain that permit. Now in domestic market, the price of wood is nearly half as compared to international, due to which farmers wanted to export red sanders but could not do so due to the foreign trade policy, which had banned the export of red sand. So 2010 May, now the CITES was planning to suspend trade of red sanders obtained from. Then Indian government sought permission to export from cultivated source. कि जो जहाँ पे भी cultivate होगा वो हम export करेंगे अब. This resulted in export quota of only 310 tons from cultivated farms and 11,806 tons from. अब इससे क्या इफेक्ट हो रहा था? इससे क्या इफेक्ट पड़ा? द कल्टिवेटेड फार्मर्स के फार्म थे, उससे बहुत ही कम मात्रा में आपके एक्सपोर्ट होता था, बट इलीगल एक्सपोर्ट वाज स्टिल हैपनिंग. सीज्ड सोर्सेज जो पुलिस ने पकड़े हैं, उनके कॉन्फिस्केटेड रेड सैंडर्स वर बीइंग एक्सपोर्टेड बाय गवर्नमेंट इन ह्यूज. So the result was that where one and several states conducted auctions for selling the confiscated red sanders, the same red sanders farmers could not export their products. In these auctions also, अभी auction से क्या किनको profit मिलता था? The farmers were still struggling. The illegal traders, the private limited companies, they gained the most profit, and the farmers of red sanders were still struggling. Now, due to the reduction in supply, the price of red sanders, कि ये एक rare species है, तो इसका price हमेशा से increase होता गया international market. As a result, the smugglers intensified their operation. Also, when the government officials and politicians saw their cut increase, they also closed their eyes towards it. As a result, with time, these smugglers established such a system that today 50 times more wood is exported than is per year signed. And the smuggling operations flourished despite of ban on export of red sandals. तो इस तरह से आपका although government has taken measures, but वो it has not curbed the ill of smuggling. In 2013, government ने एक Red Sandals anti-smuggling task force established. The task force's mode of operation has been questioned many times. 2015, there was this news wherein 20 woodcutters, innocent woodcutters, were killed in police encounter by the STF force, and it had raised many questions back then. Now, these deaths were also protested by the government of Tamil Nadu and many politicians, as many people which were killed were workers of Tamil Nadu. They were the daily wage earners who were killed. Government, as a result of all of this, in order to curb the increased smuggling, the next decision that government took was to change its foreign trade policy. The Directorate General of Foreign Trade, an agency of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, on 18th of February 2019 revised its export policy to permit its export. अब permission मिल रही थी that red sandals can be exported if it is obtained from cultivated land. As a result of this, it was possible to legally sell red sandals. Estimates suggest that there were more than 3,000 farmers across India who were unable to sell their produce the earlier export policy. पहले आपके एक्सपोर्ट पॉलिसी ने बैन लगा रखा था, बहुत से फार्मर्स नहीं सेल कर पा रहे थे. अर्लियर ओनली सीज्ड लॉग्स, जो सीज्ड लॉग्स थे फ्रॉम स्मगलर्स, दे वर बीइंग एक्सपोर्टेड डिपेंडिंग ऑन द स्टेट. नाउ this change in the export policy helped curb down smuggling, as the smugglers also had to face competition now, because now it was legal and also it is a rare species, so it was legal to export now. And now the operations of the smugglers also. In a very recent news piece, the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence seizes red sandals worth 11.7 crores under Operation Rakhtachand. This has happened this May, on 30th May 2022. It was reported that in line with its commitment to preserve the natural heritage of the nation, DRI has recovered 14.63 metric ton of red sandals estimated at 11.7 crores in the international market from a consignment that was stuffed at ICT Sabarmati, which was being exported to Sharjah, UAE. So, how did this operation come into force? Let me tell you. तो होता क्या है, यहाँ पे एक intelligence information मिलती है, which was developed by DRI, that red sandal logs were being exported in a consignment, और उनको जो है assorted toiletries के नाम से एक consignment बना है जिसमें उनको smuggle किया जा रहा है. Accordingly, Operation Rakhtachand was launched and close surveillance was kept on the suspect export consignment. Acting on the above intelligence, the suspect container was scanned through a container scanning device, which confirmed the presence of some goods in the shape of logs and absence of declared goods, that is the assorted toiletries. Accordingly, the container was examined by the DRI, which revealed that it was fully stuffed with wooden logs of red color that appeared to be red sandal. On destuffing, 840 wooden logs having total weight of 14.6 metric ton were found in the. No other goods were recovered. Preliminary पहले जब examination किया गया उन wooden logs का, they were found. It was found that they are the logs of red sandal, which was prohibited for export. Now, hence the same were seized under provisions of Customs Act. Further investigation regarding how the movement of the goods took place, how its transportation took place, they are in progress. Hence, government's Operation Rakhtachand was successful. Also, let me tell you a bit about Wildlife Protection Act 1960. The Wildlife Protection Act is an act to provide for the protection of wild animals, birds and plants. ये आपका एक act है जो आपके protection देता है आपके plants and animals को, and for matters connected therewith or ancillary or incidental in order to ensure the ecological and environment security of the country. क्या रेड सैंडर्स को इसमें प्रोटेक्शन मिली है? Status of legal protection in India. Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act earlier included red sandal. तो पहले Schedule 6 के बारे में जानते हैं. Schedule 6, basically there are various subjects that are there in Schedule 6 which regulates and restricts the cultivation, possession and sale of the rare plant species. तो इस schedule में different subjects हैं जिनका जो restricted है, जिनका cultivation, possession, क्योंकि ये rare plant species. अब यूनियन एनवायरमेंट मिनिस्ट्री ने डिसाइड किया टू कीप रेड सैंडलवुड आउट ऑफ द शेड्यूल 6 ऑफ वाइल्ड लाइफ प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट 1962, arguing that this would discourage the cultivation of the rare plants. Now let's conclude our session. So red sanders, these are the species that is endemic to the forest in Red sanders, they grow in rocky, degraded and fallow lands with red soil and hot and dry climate. Protection status, आपके IUCN के red list में it has been provided as, it has been given the endangered status, and CITES के appendix 2 में it is there. Thank you so much for this session.